So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to peak number 1. I could start off like this. Welcome to peak number 1. This is Toastmaster Umar area 31. Or I can start like this. So this is Toastmaster Umar Farooq Awan, area 31 director, and this is a series of panel discussion, and this will be the peak number 1. How everybody is doing? Great? Awesome? That's what energy is. See? That's how we start the meeting and our panel discussion. I hope everybody is doing well and they will have a great time. And a lot of insights and expertise will be shared, tips and tricks, the ingredients of what makes a winning table topic speech. Table topics are about impromptu speaking. We all know off the cuff, thinking on your feet, different things you tell about table topics. But these are all normal conversations of life. Some friend asks you, Umar, what is life and all? You will not start writing a speech. You will give an impromptu reply, no? Don't you? Yes, you will give you will not start preparing. Somebody asks you a question. Okay, let me write a speech and I will tell you. All your conversations are impromptu. The majority of 90, maybe 90% of your life, you are doing impromptu speeches. So don't be afraid. And if you are afraid, you can learn it. You can get better in it and sharpen your impromptu skills. To start off and to handle this panel discussion, we have with us, she is bundle of energy, one of the liveliest and passionate Toastmasters that I know. She is the current VP Education of Panorama Toastmasters Club Division J and Admin Manager of Division J and PR Event Head for District 79. Division J Champion for Humorous Speech and Humorous Speech Finalist in District 79 Humorous Speech Contest. Also District 79 Finalist for Tabletopics. Not to forget, she is none other than our panel moderator, Toastmaster Nivedita Nagraj. Over to you.
Thank you so much, dear Area Director DTM Umar Farooq, for that altruistic introduction. I'm elated. My dear fellow Toastmasters, distinguished leaders, esteemed guests, and our beloved champion panelists, a very good evening to you all. Table topics. Well, one of the key components of the club program in the Toastmasters organization. It is all about internalizing the structure of a speech and delivering a powerful message or an impactful short speech that grabs everyone's attention. Table topics is something that helps you if you want to learn how to think on your feet in any given circumstance. So today, we are here for an efficacious panel discussion on how to ace the table topic when you face it. I would like to introduce the 3 champion panelists for the evening. To begin with, a behavior analyst by profession, Toastmaster since 2014, past District 20 PR manager, past District 20 champion for table topics and evaluation, and the reigning table topic champion. And she started her own venture called the Pitch Club. Quite interesting, isn't it? Which conducts classes in communication, public speaking, and personality development for the children from the age of 4. Let's welcome DTM Nancy George with a huge round of virtual applause.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nivedita. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much and a warm welcome to you, dear DTM Nancy George. And then we have a lecturer teaching English for academic, specific, and professional purpose at the Chinese University of Hong Kong. He's also the founder of Unseen Education Group Limited with the passion of public speaking, acting, and writing food journals at Cave and Food. He's also a certified behavioral consultant. And well, he is the champion of 2020-2021 District 89 International Speech and Tabletopics Contest. He has also won second place in the District 85 Evaluation Contest in the year 2010. Wow, it's a great honor to welcome DTM Kevin Go. Many congratulations.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nivedita. Thank you so much. I am very happy to be here as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today, dear DTM Kevin. Many congratulations for all the achievements, and we are glad to have you today in this evening. And now, last but not the least, yes, we have with us our District 79 champion, a beautiful lady, a motivational and a keynote speaker, trainer, writer, and a passionate Toastmaster. An IT consultant by profession, and she has won the district championship in table topics and evaluation in the year 2017. And we all know that she's the current table topic champion for District 79. She has served several leadership positions from club to the district, and she is the founder of her own public speaking and communication coaching, through which she aspires to hone the speaking skills of the youth and the adults. Let's welcome our very own DTM Farin Seat for this esteemed event.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Nivedita, for that introduction. Thank you very much for having me here. This is one of my most favorite divisions, and I'm so honored to be amongst all my wonderful friends here. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much. It's our pleasure to have all you three champions right here today. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, dear champion panelists, I am flabbergasted by just reading your introduction here. It's a great honor to have you all this evening, and I'm sure we are going to witness an astounding session today. Now, without any delay, let's begin the panel discussion on table topics. Before I begin, dear audience, please note that we will have a question and answer session for 15 minutes after the panel discussion. I request you all to be ready with your questions and ensure that you're all set to ace the table topic when you face it the next time. All right, dear panelists, I am super excited to know all your secrets in acing the table topic. And I hope you all are ready to share your knowledge with us. Well, now to begin with, DTM Nancy George. Glad to meet you virtually. Very good evening.
Good evening. Lovely to see you too, Toastmaster Nivedita.
I hope it's afternoon for you there.
It's the same time, so
Okay.
it's good evening.
Okay, so let's have a great evening together today. So my question to you, what according to you is the best way to tackle a topic? Because sometimes it just happens that we do not really start with the first thought that we get in our mind, because thinking that we would have a better way or a better idea to start the speech. So what is your approach to begin with the table topic speech?
So we've all seen champions in various categories, right? And we all know they're excellent speakers. But there is one thing that you will hear consistently across, not just today's session, but across any session that you have when you're going to ask them their secret. It's the P, the P, and the P. Now, what is it, right? It's practice, it's practice, and it's practice. Even if it is table topics, you keep practicing. Now, what do you practice? You practice different things like your story well. You practice on your strengths, and then you practice how to stay calm. You practice how to get your keywords. So if you want me to sum up the whole thing, the technique is to practice, practice, and practice. There you go.
Yes, thank you so much for that answer. So dear audience, did you notice what she said? It's all about letter P. Practice, 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 because practice makes a man perfect. Right. Thank you so much for that beautiful answer. Now, dear Kevin Go, DTM Kevin Go, very good evening to you. I hope you're doing good.
Good evening, Toastmaster Nevita.
Very good evening.
Good evening.
So, the most commonly asked question in the table topic workshops is that how do you deal with the topic which you have not really understood, or you're not aware of the topic, or unfortunately you have just missed to focus on the topic which was just given to you and you're not able to answer. So how do we deal with such kind of a situation? What's your approach?
It depends highly though, whether you are in a contest or whether you are in just a normal club, Toastmasters meeting. If it's just a normal Toastmaster club meeting, what I normally do is just to ask the table topic masters just to repeat it one more time, and in a way to ask for clarification. Before then, I tell the timer to even to start, because there is no way for me to start the thing without basically then knowing what is happening at the same time. However, if it is going to be in the contest, then I will do my very best just to try and say whatever that I want to say, even though at the end of the day, I know I might have done a shitty job out of it in the end, because I would have misunderstood the whole thing. But if it is a contest, then that's tough luck for not understanding the question. But if it is just a normal table topic, session in the normal club meeting, you can always just ask the table topic masters again to rephrase, or to actually then to tell you again what he or she means when he or she presents that particular question to you, rather than rambling about things that might go out of hand and might go off topic altogether as well.
Well, I totally agree with you. Yes. So all that we can do is do something than being said nothing, right? So that is what you mean to say. Just go with the flow and try to answer something that first thought that comes into your mind, and go on with the topic. So thank you so much, DTM Kevin. And now DTM Farid said, I'm so happy to see you.
The pleasure is mine, Toastmaster Nivedita.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I remember your topic in your table topic finals at the district. So it was something like, what do you choose, winning a trophy or sacrificing for someone else? So the question was quite tricky, where the answer needs to be genuine, satisfying, and most importantly, you can't just pretend to be nice. So how do you think that your answer was better than the other contestants, which led you to lift the champion trophy?
Thank you for that question. You know what? you actually had the answer in your question. You talked about sincerity. You talked about speaking from the heart. You talked about being genuine. Because whenever someone asks me for one tip, I would always say speak from the heart. And it shows, no matter how much you try to fake it, if you believe in something and if you speak about it, it just shows in your face. It comes naturally. It's that exuberance that comes out in the speaker when he or she is trying to say something that he or she totally believes in. So in my case, it was between making a sacrifice and winning a contest. And for me, it was natural to say, oh my God, a contest? That can happen over and over again, right? If not this year, next year. If not next, the year after. But the sacrifice, it's going to be remembered for a lifetime. I'm a champion of District 79 this year. Next year, someone else is going to step in and I'll be forgotten, right? It's not something that I'm going to make a mark on someone's life with. I won for myself. I won for my family. I won for my friends, my supporters, my district, my club. But if I made a sacrifice, that's going to be hitting someone directly. And I'm sure no matter how much they try to forget, they are going to remember me. There's going to be those lonely, dark days when someone is going to say, oh my God, she did this for me, because we all do that, right? Sometimes we're just sitting and gazing into nowhere, and then we remember someone who did something for us and we go, wow, I can't thank her or him enough for what they did. So genuinely, again, if you like the topic or you don't, just say what comes from your heart. Just say truthfully, genuinely what you would feel, even if you put off the entire audience. Just say what you feel, and that is going to come across really smoothly. I mean, a lot of people immediately called me after my contest and they said, oh my God, that was just you. And, I don't know, I can't judge myself, but you guys can, because that shows in our body language, in our speech, everything put together. So yeah, speak from the heart.
Speaking from the heart. And you know what? I still remember that expression on your face because I watched your performance. You know what she said? It's just a trophy. It's just a contest. That particular line is like, yes, it's just a trophy. Yes, speaking from the heart and being genuine. And as you said, once those thoughts comes out, right from deep from our heart, it just shows on our face. It reflects on our face. So thank you so much for the beautiful answer, TTM Farin said.
Sure.
And now, TTM Nancy, what is your views on different ways of opening the table topic speech? Because most of us use a famous quote, or we even try to create one on spot. But what exactly makes an impactful opening to a table topic speech, according to you?
I would say being genuine and following your own style. So different people have different styles. Some of you might start with a quote. Some of you might start with a story that's in general. Some of you might start with a personal story. It doesn't matter what way you start with, It just matters of how genuine you are. Because all these people who are watching you, all your audience will know it if you fake it, like how DTM Fahid said. So when you talk and when you are you, when you are not a second-rate copy of another person, and when you are genuinely portraying your feelings, when you're genuinely talking, being you, that's how you tackle. So if you ask me this question, I have different methods. So sometimes I just start with a dialogue just like that, like, oh, like have you said, oh my God, are you asking me, is it a trophy or is it a sacrifice? One of the winning speeches of mine was like, get away, Eva, don't talk to me. That's how I started too, and Eva's my daughter. And I wasn't faking it, because this was something that I used to tell my daughter when I was irritated years ago, not now. I'm much more mature. You can see the gray hairs. I'm mature. I don't do it anymore. But that's what I'm saying, You just have to be unique. You just have to be you. Select your own style, whatever. So it can be starting with a quote. It can be starting with a general story. It can just start with a dialogue. It can start with your own personal story. It can start with a before and after. It can start with, 2 years ago, now, and in the future style. There are many, many different ways. So what way suits you best and makes you unique is what you select. Over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I hope the audience are noting down all these important tips, because with time we'll get carried away and we'll definitely forget very precious things these people are giving out, all their secrets. Because see, as we saw now, DTM Nancy, she just gave us a lot of tips, like how impactfully we can open a table topic speech with just a random dialogue. Huh? What is this? That the very second when you just try to do that, it grabs the audience attention. So all of you, please note down all these secrets. Well, thank you so much, DTM Nancy, for that wonderful answer. And now, yes, DTM Kevin, do you incorporate humor in your table topic speech? And if so, how do you do that? And do you think it's really beneficial to incorporate humor into a table topic speech? Because keeping in mind that not many of us are very good at cracking one just on spot once the topic is given to us. So what is your views on it?
Humor is one of the hardest things to crack in any situation that you want it to be. But if you really want to have that engagement, then you really don't have a choice. The best style that I always use when it comes to humor basically is to demean my own self, make my own self the enemy, and at the same time, start to take the twist out of it. And that's basically my style of humor. And the reason why I don't use other people also at the same time as well is that sometimes you don't know whether the other person will kind of like what you're doing or not, and you might hurt somebody's feeling in the end, even though it's supposed to be just a humor. So what I normally do is I will use my own self, or I use someone that nobody knows of. Like, for example, my boss, because nobody knows my boss anyway, and my boss is not a Toastmaster fan. So that's how I use the authority. I use myself, but never my friends, never people from Toastmaster, because you just don't want to hurt them. And the easiest is just to have that twist, and that twist itself will create what you basically want to create. And that's how I create humor in table topics as well, because it's really hard though.
I know, it's really hard. That's the whole question is all about. So yes, incorporating a humor is not that easy. So what kind of a twist? I mean, like suppose a sample question is given, like suppose it's a serious topic. How do you think that you can, on spot, you can think of a humor which just adds a flavor to your speech? I mean, you would take up your own personal story and try to add a humor in it? Or
I do. Along the way, as I say, if I made up the story itself, sometimes if humor is not really the only thing that you can actually do, like Nancy said, sometimes within your speech, you can actually create the bang along the way, the bang through your vocal variety, the bang through your body language. So if you're not the type where you are able to crack the humor, or the situation is in a sense where it's a bit too serious, that's when you use other things altogether. And I am a body language guy, so therefore I always use my body language to create meaning through my speech as well, in order for me to get that audience attention, and also to separate myself from other people. And if you're talking about winning, then we don't really have a choice. We need our style to stand out as much as possible.
Right.
And for humor to work, as I say, if you can, you do it. If you can't, then think about it. Just a normal twist will work.
Correct. Why I directed this question to you was because I just read in your introduction that you're a good actor. So probably I thought you would be taking a risk in adding a humor into your mini speech. Well, thank you so much for that beautiful answer. And Toastmaster Farin, so what do you think is the best way to conclude a table topic speech? Like I've seen people just repeating the topic and concluding with an agreement or disagreement of to the topic, or just ended abruptly with the same opening code which they had used earlier. So what is your approach? Do you use any unique style of creating that, yes, wow factor while ending your table topic speech?
Well, for me, I really place importance on the conclusion, because that short speech that you're giving, it's a table topic in the end, right? We don't have enough time. It's not a 5 to 7 minute speech where you've got all your thoughts together. You're throwing in a story, you're throwing in an anecdote, you have a lesson to share. You have to do all of that in this little time that you have. But you still have to make an impact. So conclusion is important, but that does not mean that we repeat ourselves, because that's going to leave a sour taste in the mouth. Look at people who are speaking. You've given them a minute or two and they're repeating themselves, even if you're saying the best things in the world. You don't want to go back and listen to them, because you're like, okay, you've said this, move on, say something else or just move out, right? I mean, that's how we all think. So leave an impact by saying something that will matter. Just repeating the topic and just saying, I agree with the topic. So in conclusion, I agree with what Madam Table Topic Master said. We know you agreed. We understood that with the flow of your speech. Say something like, so the next time I'm faced with this situation, I think I would do this. It's a twist. You are agreeing, but you're not explicitly saying, I agree with. That sounds so monotonous, right? Twist it around, give it, what if you could suddenly think about a quote that relates? Now, again, please don't quote me on this. I'm saying if you could think of a quote, because I've been in situations where I've seen table topic speakers come up and give a prepared speech, and it's so obvious. You can sit there and listen and say, wow, that was not a table topic. That was prepared. You prepared something and you're trying to fit it in somehow with the topic. That's not going to work. I'm sorry, no matter how hard you work, it is going to make you fall flat on your face. So don't even try it. Don't come prepared. Seriously, don't. No good table topic speaker prepares. Just give it the thought with a twist so that people are going to be like, oh yeah, that makes sense, right? So yeah, that would be the best way to conclude. But make sure you conclude. Don't leave it abrupt, because that again makes people wonder, so what was she going to get at? You don't want to leave them with a question. You want to leave them with, wow, that is awesome.
Okay.
Back to you.
Nice. So all you mean to say is that give a call for action for the audience in the end of the mini speech, or a very strong message instead of just abruptly ending with the same.
Really depends on the situation. Sometimes it's not a call for action because you're not expecting someone to do something, exactly, but you're telling them what you would do. My take on this is that I would do this. It's just wrapping it all up neatly and leaving the stage in style. Yeah.
So now that you said one more thing, never ever prepare for the table topic contest. So you mean to say that you don't put any efforts like you put for any other contest, like the international speech contest, not evaluation, but a humorous. In those cases, we need to practice, as letter P, Nancy said, we need to do P,
absolutely.
P. But for the table topics, you mean to say no need of, you don't have to put that additional effort. Just come there, stand in the spotlight and rock on.
No. That's not what I meant at all. Maybe I got that across.
Do you really prepare for your table topic? Suppose you have a contest next month coming up. So what is that you do?
To be honest, just like DTM Nancy said, you have to practice. And practice happens not by you practicing on your own, but probably attempting table topics at your club meetings, getting someone to ask you questions randomly, or just attempting to answer questions that were not even posted towards you. People might not ask you a question, but you can think and say, if I was in his seat or her seat, I would say this. Even if you're not saying it, you're thinking about it, right? So definitely I would be lying if I said that you can walk across, stand on the stage and rock it when you're not prepared. No, you have to be prepared. But what I said was, don't use a script. Don't use a prepared script. Like we have a written prepared script for an international prepared speech. I've seen people do that for a table topic. They twisted it around to make it fit that topic. It doesn't, because you're talking about something completely different only because you have it ready. Right? Even quotes. I've seen fellow Toastmasters say, I've got 5 quotes ready. I have to use one of these.
I've seen that.
Right? Exactly. So that's what I meant. There's a difference.
And
Yes, you
sometimes it
practice.
just goes so weird that it doesn't even connect to the topic that Stream has. Just
There
because
you
you
go.
have the quote ready, you just use that and try to fix it somewhere into that mini speech, which doesn't.
That's
really
what I
work.
meant. Yeah, don't do that. But definitely practice, not just a few days or a few weeks before the contest, but practice throughout. At every club meeting, put up your hand and say, okay, I'll go for the next table topic. Just, gathering that courage and trying to get over that fear of impromptu speaking will get you there.
Correct. No, my question was like, do we really need to recall with some of the incidents, because the true anecdotes, the true life stories, when you add it into your table topic, it just connects with the audience. So do you really put in such kind of an efforts before attempting a table topic contest? Because probably that would make some sense. So what are your views on it?
What you're saying makes complete sense. It would be awesome if you could throw in a real life story, because it's going to touch the audience's heart. But how many real life stories are you going to list in your mind? Because you don't know what the topic is, right? Sometimes it just comes to your mind. For example, if you talk about a horrific accident, you might have had a road accident that almost killed you, and that comes to your mind immediately. It's not because you prepared, but because it's sitting in that part of your brain that is ready to use it, right? So that's just something that would happen. You have to pick out of the memory things that just sit there at the surface. You can't just dig into it. That's it. Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much, Diti and Farin. And now, if I had to pass the same question to the other two champion leaders here. So, I mean, the question is about, do you really prepare for the table topic? I mean, like, what are your efforts, just in case you have a contest coming up in the next week or next month? So what is that little things that you try to do, or which boosts up your confidence too?
So what I do, I don't know what everybody else, but I'm going to tell you what I do. To at least a month before the contest, my friends know that I'm going to keep calling them specifically on my way to the office. The moment I call them, they know what I want. So they're like, okay, Nancy, this is your topic, shoot. And then all the way until I reach my office, I keep dialing up one friend after the other. And so in that process, I get my time set. Everybody in my district knows I have a problem with timing. It is my weakness, and that's something that I'm working towards, okay? So I practice on timing myself. And when I reply to various topics, I build my story wells. And like how DTM Farheen said, and like how DTM Kevin was nodding his head when she was talking about, those incidents that are there at the tip of your brain, you just need the word to trigger it. These practice sessions trigger those memories. So when I get a topic thrown my way, I'm not caught off guard, because I have spoken about this maybe a month ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, and I know what truly happened to me. So there is no faking it, because it happened to me. This is what happened to me. And what only happens is a better finesse, better way of expressing it, maybe better emotional quotient in what I say. So it just gets better. So I practice on my way to office. I practice on my way back from office. I practice when I call up my friends. I practice at every table topic segment in a normal club meeting. Sometimes I'm even so crazy that I do call a couple of my club members and say, hey, can you just all come on Zoom and throw a couple of topics, in my way? Because I wasn't comfortable speaking in an online setting. I'm not that sort of a person. I'm a people person. I can't talk to a blank screen. So I needed practice there, and I had people doing that. I had people giving me feedback on how I need to place myself. How do you move? Don't move beyond this limit, Nancy. We can't see you. Use your hands this way. So yes, I do practice. I do a hell lot of practice, but only 1 month before. I'm the sort of a person who can only start when the fire hits you. I can't do it before. To be very honest, I really can't practice much before. So
Thank you. You know what? You're so blessed to have such supportive friends and people all around. Don't we think so?
Yeah.
So very nice. Thank you. And P4, TTM Nancy, George, don't forget to practice, practice, practice. Nice. That was really nice because yes, that actually works because that I use the same approach to my daughter. I see a lot of difference in the way she attempts the table topic these days. There's a lot of improvement because every time she's just sitting and mama, she just runs to me and like, Mama, can you give me a topic? I'm like, all set to go.
Oh, that's lovely.
Thank you. Yeah. And I see that what you said, it actually works. So thank you. Now, TTM Kevin, I wanted to ask about how important, like we already spoke about this, having the personal stories in our mini speech. So do you, as I asked DTM Farim, do you also recall some of these stories before the contest, or you try to recap so that you don't go blank? You never know in that spotlight, you're so nervous that makes you just go blank. So what do you think is the importance of having the personal anecdotes in that mini speech, and how do you deal with it?
Right. So what I normally do is I'm a little bit like DTM Nancy in the sense where I also, in a way, just practice a month before time. Anything more than that, then I won't touch it because I don't really like table topics that much. It's just that as a contest, I will do it. But I don't have great friends like DTM Nancy. So what I normally do is I will Google. And if you Google table topics generator, you'll be able to have a few websites that will be able to give you table topics. That's when I will randomly just do it. Sometimes I will do it up to an hour. Sometimes I do it for 30 minutes. So I don't call my friends, but I will do it on my own. So that's when at the same time, while you're doing it, you are collecting your stories. There are certain stories that you'll be able to see that it will fit into this context. There are certain stories you'll be able to see that you will fit into that context. So the more you do when it comes to table topics, the more you kind of like be able to see which personal stories of yours will be able to fit into which context. So the more you do it, the more personal stories, like Dr. Like TTM Fahim said, it will come up from your mind. And then from there, you kind of like know, this is the story for this one, this is the story for this one, this is the story for this one, this is the story for that one. That's when you generate as much stories as you can. And from there on, once you get into the table topics itself, that's when you have tons of stories to use instead of not knowing what to say. So that's my style.
Right. So again, I agree with that. And I think, yes, the more we converse with we just need the people around us and who can literally support us. And we need to just spend the quality time and find out, try to attend the table topic whenever it's possible, just in the normal conversations that we have in a regular everyday life, right? So now that we have spoken so much about being sincere and using the personal anecdotes, because which is already there in our memory, which is just, it just strikes out and comes out just right in that time to make an impact. But I have attended certain workshops, and I've seen people giving an advice that if you don't know and go blank and you don't know what kind of a story to put on, just lie. I have heard this. Lie in a way that create a story which gives a message. So what are your views on it? Because when you all three of you, when you're talking about this suddenly made a contradictory thought in my mind. Like, does it really make sense? Is it right? What are your views, TTM Farin?
To be honest with you, Toastmaster Nivedita, I've heard this a lot, and I'm not going to lie, I've said it too. In my workshops, I've told people, fake it till you make it. Because this might be a subject that you're not comfortable with, you haven't faced before, so just cook it up. But luckily for me, I haven't had to cook up anything so far. And if I did, if I had to ask my biggest critic, my mom, she would be like, it shows on your face, don't even fake it. So thank God I didn't have to fake anything, because I would probably not come across as powerfully as I do when I say something that I truly believe in and I really want to say it to people. So, but so what? I mean, so what if you fake it? It's not a sin. You're only saying something that you want people to take back as a message. You're not saying, I won $1 million, and it's not like you have to pay a tax on that. It's not like you have to give it away to somebody. So what if you said you won $1 million, even if you didn't, right? So it's okay. It is absolutely okay to lie because you're not doing anything against the rules. So go ahead and lie, because that's going to be better than that complete awkward silence. You know, that silence when
Absolutely agree.
everybody's wondering what's going on, right? You don't want to leave your audience with that break.
I think it's just a worst situation where you really don't have a story to say because you've not gone through it. I mean, you never encountered such kind of a situation where you can connect to the topic. And the last option left is to cook up a story.
Honestly, my approach to this is, think of it like you're talking with a friend, just like DTM Nancy does, right? She answers these questions with her friends. Pretend you're talking to a friend and your friend asked you this question. What would you say to him or her? You won't panic. You won't be shaking, and you won't try to run away. You're just going to say something because you know they're going to understand. So just pretend you're talking to a friend and say whatever you want to say to. There's no judgment happening in Toastmasters. Remember that. It's such a friendly environment that no one's going to hold what you're saying accountable, and no one's going to come back and say, oh, you said this. Remember last year when you were on the stage, you said this? No one's going to say that. So it's okay. You can say what you want to and get away with it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, DTM Perry. Now, we had a lot of discussion on table topics. So, dear champions, please tell me your secret formula. Not just for table topics, let it be a general secret formula that you have achieved so much in the Toastmasters. And obviously, we all wish to be like you guys. So please give us your one or two tips of yours. Give away that secret today. Come on, please. We'll start with DTM Nancy.
So there's a message that I always tell everybody, and it's a message that I sincerely practice with all my soul. I believe that you're beautiful the way you are. You do not have to replicate another person's style. I always say it is better to be a first-rate version of you yourself rather than be a second-rate copy of somebody else. You do this, that's my number one tip. Number two, use simplified language. It's a table topics contest. It is not a contest of your vocabulary skills. It doesn't matter how complicated a jargon you can say, you know. It only matters how you simplify and the message that you say has to go through. So when you speak like you're speaking to a friend, when you speak like you're speaking to family, that's all you need. So 2 tips. 1, be you. 2, use simplified, simple, basic day-to-day language and context. These are my tips.
Thank you so much. So be original, be you, and keep it simple. That's it. Thank you. Now, DTM Kevin, what is your secret formula? Come on. You want to know?
Like DTM Nancy has just mentioned, other than being yourself, you also kind of like need to know your own strength and your own weaknesses as well. Even because if you want to win a table topics, you have to maximize your strength and you have to then minimize your weaknesses as much as you can. My weakness has always been in table topics to be very long-winded because I tend to merge all my sentences together. And that's when I would have to tell myself, be short. It is just what DTM Nancy has just mentioned as well. So the first thing is just maximize your strength as much as possible so that you will shine. 2 is just believe in the message that you want to believe in. And once you believe in it, then the message will come out. In a real table topics contest, though, lying, I gotta disagree with DTM Fahin a little bit on this. When it comes to a contest, lying is not an option. because your body and your facial expression, everything will show that you just don't know what you're saying and you're lying your way through. The technique that I've learned, because I got it once before, is to use other people's stories and then link it back to your stories as best as you can. That way, at least it is still a truth. It is still a truth and it is still a true story rather than just lying your way through. Because at the end of the day, your body will not show it as much as how much you want it to be, unless you're a very good actor, which most of us are not.
Right.
So yeah, that's my style.
That was a fantastic tip. Just use a story of the other person. Just go with you. Yes, that's a good tip. And convert all your negativities to positive. So yes, strengthen your positives. Thank you so much for the wonderful answer. And DTM Kareem, what are your secret formulas?
One very important thing, Toastmaster Nivedita, that everyone forgets to do when they go up on stage is to breathe. We're so nervous. We're so tensed. We forget that the normal cycle of breathing that is happening without us even giving it attention is kind of restricted. And if you want to be able to speak, you want to be able to shine, you need to take a few seconds to breathe. A long, deep breath is going to ground you on that stage. We talk about speaking on your feet. It's about grounding yourself too. And the only way you can ground yourself is by breathing normally and deeply. So one thing, if I could emphasize on one point, it would be to breathe well. And the other, like I started, I'm going to conclude with what I started with. Speak from your heart. So genuinely say what you believe, even if you're going to be offending 90% of the audience, say it because that's what you believe in, right? So what? This is not a debate. Even if it is, you're going to come across strongly if you're good. So just speak from your heart, no matter what. You're not going to offend anybody if you do it respectfully.
Right.
So yes, breathe and speak from the heart is what I would say.
Wow, thank you. So dear audience, what should you do once you're in a spotlight? Relax and take a deep breath, because that is a most crucial time, which will definitely matter the way you will be presenting your mini table topic speech. So that was a fantastic tip. It's not a tip, we all know that, but we still do not really follow it, because we are like, we have that butterflies in the stomach, we're just nervous, completely panicked, and we go blank and we don't really give our 100%, though we are in a potential to do it much better. So dear panelists, wow, thank you so much. Definitely it was like a great, fantastic, productive evening for me, and I hope even all the audience had a very good brainstorming session today. So thank you so much, dear panelists. I hope you all did enjoy my questions. And I'm super proud and honored to have such amazing discussion with the 3 champions of the table topics. And I would like to ask all the audience there, give them a huge round of applause. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And now, since we are running short of the time, I would like to go to the question and answer session. Dear audience, now it's your turn to shoot your questions to our champion elegant speakers. So request you all to either raise your virtual hand so that I can ask you to unmute yourself and shoot the questions to our panelists, or you can even drop your question in the chat box and I shall read it for our beloved panelist. Any questions, audience?
They are raising the hands.
Yes, we have DTM Ramkumar. DTM Ramkumar, you can unmute yourself and shoot your question to your favorite panelist.
Thank you so much, Nivedita, Toastmaster at Raj. I was so impressed with the panelists and the depth, and I was really motivated. The only question I have is, if I have to ask, new members, when they come with a glossophobia, how much time actually needed to become a good listener, listening the topic and speaking, attempting the table topics? For the new members especially, what are the tips would the panelists give to them? I'm not talking about a veteran or a seasonal Toastmasters. The new members, how much time they need to invest to pick up on listening and attending or making an attempt to the table topics? Thank you.
Thank you for the question, DTM Ramkumar. Over to the panelists who want to answer this. Yes, all three of you can share your views on this. DTM Nancy, yes.
DTM Ramkumar, we're from the same district, but yet I thought,
Yes,
I should.
thank you, Nancy. DTM Nancy, wonderful to have you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your question. So specific to your question, it depends on different people, and their calibers. So we cannot judge everyone on the same scale. I have only contested for 3 seasons, even though I've been a Toastmaster since 2014. I joined Toastmasters in 2014 and I contested in 1 week. I reached till the district in that 1 week. However, it depends, For some people, you can just do it immediately. It depends on how much effort you put into this one category. For me, I am a natural at speaking. I did not need a lot of effort. But I have my friends who competed in the coming years, and I have seen that some of them take a longer time than the other. So it's really not, we can't measure them on the same scale. It depends. It depends on the amount of work you do behind the screens. It depends on the amount of effort you need. It depends on your skills deficit. Where do you need to build it, and what's missing? What are those missing links, and how long do you take to build it? So there's not one answer. It depends, and it varies from person to person. I know it's a very diplomatic answer, but it's the honest truth.
Thank you for that answer, DTM Nancy. DTM Farid, do you have anything to add to this?
I would completely second DTM Nancy's answer. There's no one size fits all. And my situation was very, very similar to hers. I competed only in 2 years and I won both. So when I started, honestly, I never thought I would go up and speak as a table topic speaker because I thought I was too shy. Growing up, I was never a speaker. I was only a writer. It was only after I discovered Toastmasters that I got the courage to come up and speak. So if they're newcomers and someone like me who never thought they would go up on stage and speak, Toastmasters is the perfect opportunity. People give you that push. They're like, no, you can do it. You can do it. And then you're pushed into an area that you never thought you could be in, right? So that encouragement gives them that practice and the confidence to go places they haven't been before. So it might take weeks, it might take months, it might take years, but everyone can do it. Trust me, each and everyone can do it. It's not difficult at all.
Well, I hope DTM Ramkumar, you have got the answer for your question. Now we have
Thank you.
guest. Yeah, thank you, sir. Now we have guest Cuckoo.
Hello. The context is for Table Topics contest. How important is it to always have a call to action rather than, let's say, saying, and that was the scariest yet happiest day in my life?
Okay.
Again, it's me who wants to answer. Sorry.
Yes, please. Yes.
But your question just strikes because when I won the championship for the first time 2 years ago, I remember the topic very specifically. It was like legendary leaders leave long-lasting impressions. So how I tackled it is I just said, I was raised by my grandparents, and my grandpa taught me 3 important C's: courage, confidence, and compassion. And then I tackled each of them. So I explained how he taught me courage. An example, I told them a life situation of how it was compassion, how it was confidence. And then I wound it up by saying, my grandpa was my legendary leader who left in me these 3 C's, you know? So I did not really go ahead and reiterate the topic over and over and over again. I built it around my own story and I concluded it in my own style and I won. So you really don't have to reiterate. And there was a time when I reiterated and I won as well, you know? So it's all about staying unique. It just depends on who all participates that day, how well they all give their best shot that day, and who does it best in that competition on that day. That's all that matters. So there you go.
Yes, I hope you have got the answer. Thank you so much for the beautiful answer. And now we have a question from Toastmaster Srinivasan, who asks, if you have no clue or it's not your cup of tea, what would you do? I think we had this the similar question in our panel discussion. And also he has a question, how to give suitable pause between speech, any techniques? Kevin, do you have anything to answer for this?
Well, generally, when it comes to pausing, you just need to know when do you want to have the impact. In order for you to create the impact, that's when you have to tell yourself at least to give it, a small little pause before you say something else. It depends, though, whether you are telling a story throughout the entire thing or you're giving some, bits and pieces of your rationale behind it. Whenever you have something important to say, what I normally do is I do stop for a while before I dive deeper into the next thing. That's when I tell myself to pause. Other than that, then most of the time I'll just choo-choo-train my way through, which is sometimes can be a bit bad because it's a hit and miss. Sometimes people do say that I do, in a way, write my table topics through to the extent that they couldn't understand me. But I kind of like know pause is important. That's why you sometimes just have to tell yourself, slow down. And when you know there's important things to say, really pause for a while and then continue.
Yes, the powerful pauses will matter a lot. And now we have a question from Hajar. It goes like, if I want to start practicing alone or with the friends, should I build a plan like start with easy topics for me, then the hard ones, or like start working on introduction, then the conclusion, or I just have to practice randomly? Who wants to take up this? Fareen?
Sure. So Toastmaster Hajar, again, this is not a generic answer. Each one would do it differently. In your case, you would have to sit down and identify what are your weak points. Are you struggling to come up with a structure? Then you would generally work with an opening, a body, and a conclusion because you want to have a clear structure. But if you're okay with the structure and you're not sure how to answer, which is a technique again, which comes with practice, right? So look at what are you struggling with most. Is it the fact that you're not able to start off right away? Is it the fact that you're not able to throw in some body language? Is it the fact that you're not able to wrap it all up with a conclusion? Look at what part you have most difficulty with and practice that more, because that's how you're going to get better. Your practice is going to be completely different from mine and completely different from any of the other panelists here or any of the other Toastmasters here. So each one works on their own individual personalized plan to get better.
Yes. Thank you, Fareen. Toastmaster Shamam Khan, over to you.
Thank you, TM Nivedita, for such a nice panel discussions and every panelist to give us a piece of their mind around table topic things. We have heard about, keeping our cool and be ourselves and take deep breaths. I think I have missed if that was already discussed. What about the contents? Like, what is specifically we should keep in mind while getting on to the table topics? Like, some people are very good at remembering and memorizing jokes, quotes, or any such things. So do you think this holds significance that we should be like, I'm not good at memorizing jokes and quotes. I do laugh a lot, but I don't remember it when it is time, and I remember it after the table topic is done in the night. So how significant it is to, include such things in table topics, and if they are not there, do you think it is considered as a plain something? So I hope I have made myself clear.
Yes, yes. So who wants
So
to take this?
any one of you, yeah, please.
Yes.
I mean, I would love to hear from all three.
All three, yeah. TTM Nancy.
So, like I said before, you should have your own personalized style. So how do you see what style you have is by practicing. So every time you practice, this is a technique, okay? Every time you practice, you record yourself. So you're going to have around 10 to 12 recording sessions. Play them back. You are going to see a particular pattern that comes naturally to you, a comfortable pattern. For example, you might just start with a personal story, and then you might go for an audience connect, and then you might come to a conclusion. You might find a pattern in majority of your responses. If you find that pattern, you know that is your style. Now you know your style. And next you do is you see what are the strengths of your style, or what is the deficit of your style, and then you work on that particular style. It might be a quote, it might be a joke, or it might be a humorous style, maybe an informational style, maybe an emotional quotient. For me, I know very well that my greatest strength is to build an emotional connect with the audience, and I use various techniques to do it. So I don't want to change myself to be a humorous person, though people naturally laugh at what I say. It's not, honestly, not any effort from myself. For some reason, people find me funny. So I don't want to change my styles. So I just build on my strengths. Like I remember DTM Kevin saying, figure out your strength, build on your strengths. Because if I'm going to be a funny person tomorrow, and I'm naturally trying to say funny stuff, it's not going to go well. My body language is not going to sync with what I'm trying to say. I'm going to make a total joker of myself. So first, practice. Watch your practice sessions. Figure out your pattern. Figure out the positives of your pattern. See what you need to fix. Work on it. Practice again.
Yes.
I hope those mastered Shama.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much, DTM Nancy, for the answer. And we have another hand raising. Guest Toastmaster Rajiv.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity and for this wonderful panel discussion. My question is one skeptical view I heard, which was like speaking directly from heart. That is really wonderful thought. But same time, we usually say like, yeah, we don't get such memories in our life or experience that we can speak about. So mostly we go with fake it till we make it. So how to balance these would be the question. Because most of the time, like, yeah, when we get a topic, we won't have such a personal story that comes to our mind. So how to make sure that we are faking it or we are speaking it from heart, but with that impact.
Karim said, because it was you who said
Yeah,
this.
because I said speak from the heart and I said fake it till you make it. Yeah, those were my two takes on it. Toastmaster Rajiv. Honestly, I think I told you, I speak from my heart. I've never faked it. So I don't know what it feels like, but I know people have faked it and they've made it. So that means they're good, right? Like DTM Kevin said, some people are able to do it. You know, they must be really good. They must have excellent acting skills, and that's why they managed to fake it. And if you think you don't have a personal story, you don't always have to have a story. Let me give you an example. The last district championship I won in 2017, my question was not a usual one. They said, convince us in 2017, remember I'm talking about 2017 when we're in a country in Saudi Arabia, really conservative back then. And my question was, convince us that the next Olympics should be held in the city of Riyadh. And everybody's jaw dropped, and so did mine. But that was the joy of being on stage. Physical presence was amazing. And I managed to tell people that Riyadh is a happening city, when everybody knew that Riyadh was one of the most conservative places in the world. So what I was trying to get across is that, so what if it's conservative? You can still have the Olympics here because we're here and we're the fun people. We're Toastmasters. We're having fun in a district championship. So why can't we bring Olympics here, right? So there was no story there. Try and get me at what I'm trying to say, because there was no personal story. It was only an opinion. And I was trying to convince the audience that I think this is the best place on earth to have the Olympics in, right? Again, I wasn't convinced it was, but I managed to convince everyone else because of everything I said. So that's what it is about. You don't always need a story. You don't always need a quote. You don't always need some call of action. It's just the way you put it across. And it depends on the question. So you can get lucky at times, or you can get really unlucky with the question. So it's really a good prayer before you go up on stage matters.
Yeah. So it's all about, when you mean it, just say it. I think it works. Speak from the heart, as Farin said. So with that, I think we are up with the time. So it is the time to wrap up the Q&A session. And I had a fantastic, productive evening with these amazing champions. Thank you so much. And all the wonderful audience out there and all the leaders behind the screen, working so hard in making this event a grand success. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. And with this, I would like to sign off and would like to give back the control to our beloved Area Director, DTM Omar Farouk. Over to you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nivedita. Please give a big round of applause to Toastmaster Nivedita for doing the excellent and fantastic job as a panel moderator. Such energy and such enthusiasm. Wonderful. And secondly, Toastmaster Nivedita, I am not a DTM yet. You can say me I am a disturbed Toastmaster, maybe DTM, or a dedicated disturbed Toastmaster, double DTM, okay? But I am just a Toastmaster, ordinary Toastmaster over Farooq. And thanks each and every panelist for taking out time and giving us wonderful insights and your experiences that you had in your table topics journey. And as a Toastmaster, thank you so much. And it's an honor and a pleasure to have 3 district champions from 3 different districts in one panel discussion. That was so awesome, and wonderful tips and tricks you shared with us. Whether it is a fake it or make it, or be spoke with heart, practice, everything was wonderful. So first of all, I would like to have a group photo. Everybody, I would like to encourage everybody to turn on their videos so we can have a group photo. Toastmaster Mothers, Mon, Rajiv, Ong, Petra, Eswari, Rajesh, distinguished Toastmaster Ram Kumar, yes, and Hajar, Carla, turn on the video for the picture. Get ready. Okay. DTM Ram is in outside. Yeah, Hajar.
Okay, smile everyone.
Smile.
Say cheese. Say table topics.
Which cheese? Mozzarella cheese or cheddar cheese? Which cheese we have to say? Wonderful. So yeah, heart.
Okay, let's have another one.
Another one?
Another
Oh, I was holding my breath.
Make crazy faces.
Crazy.
Or make emojis.
I don't need to make a crazy. I have a crazy.
Okay,
And, great.
great. Thank you, everyone.
Yes, and as well, I would like to honor each and every team player that we had with a certificate of appreciation from Area 31, Division F, District 79. First of all, I would like to honor our first panelist, distinguished Toastmaster and District 20 table topic current champion, Nancy George. Thank you, GM Nancy, for your wonderful insights and your presence. You are awesome. Next, we have with us distinguished Toastmaster Kevin, our District 89 International Speech Champion and Table Topic Champion. Awesome. You're wonderful, and I love your contribution to the panel discussion. Loved it. Next, our third panelist, not the last but not the least, distinguished Toastmaster Fareen Seth, our District 79, our own table topic champion. Wonderful insights and loved it. Next, we have our none other than our panel moderator, Toastmaster Nivedita Nagraj. Such energy and such enthusiasm and such spirit. Amazing. Thank you, each and everyone. Next, last but not the least, our timer, Toastmaster Abu Bakr Siddiq. He was working behind the curtains also with us as timer. Wonderful job done, Toastmaster Abu Bakr. Great. Awesome. With this, I would like to not forget to mention our events manager, Toastmaster Nuha, for doing such a great job or helping and making this event successful with these beautiful virtual backgrounds and the agenda, and wonderful job on Toastmaster Nuha, and great work. And with this, I would officially like to adjourn this meeting, adjourn this workshop, and it's time for chit chat. You can stay and have a conversation. Thank you.